Welcome to Inside Kennedy Football, your weekly look inside the Eagle football program. My name is Josh Powers. Coming up on this episode, we are going to recap the big comeback homecoming win for Kennedy on Friday night. We'll look ahead to a road test for Kennedy against Columbia Heights with assistant coach Eric Vetch. And we got a couple juniors in the players segment, Jackson Reichenberger Cooper and Jesse Falk. And defensive backs coach will join me. Of course, that's Reggie Echols, all coming up on this edition of Inside Kennedy Football. But first, Eric Vetch, frequent guest.
Yeah, it's fun.
Glad to have you back.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. It's a good time. So, yeah.
Saw a lot of smiles off camera. Just a huge win for you guys on Friday night on homecoming. The way that it happened, trailing 14-0, to come back in front of the home crowd and get a big-time win, huge for the Kennedy program.
Yeah, you know, Josh, I mean, it's just I can't put into words really how much it meant to see the reaction of the kids. You know, last few seasons, obviously, it's been, you know, one win season, and to get over, first of all, just to get over that hump, one, to get that second win, and then the other thing was, you know, win homecoming. You know, everybody wants to win homecoming. You know, and it just makes the night even that much better for those guys and those kids, and the effort that they put in from basically probably the second quarter through the rest of that football game to come back and do what they did. Is you just you know, praise them for their efforts, for their execution, and for trusting us to put them in spots to be successful. You know, so it's awesome.
It was terrific to watch it happen. Let's take a look at the highlights. We got plenty of them to go through here, Coach. It wasn't a great start. You guys were down 14-0. It looked like it could be 21-0.
Yeah.
Then Jake Houston makes a huge defensive play for you guys.
You know, he's skinny, but he can play, man, and he made a great individual play there, grabbing that football. I want to say they're probably, hopefully, you know, we work on wrap and rip, and again, you know, he physically just took that football away from that kid. He basically took him head on and said, "That's mine." So
while he was being engaged
in
a block too,
yeah.
I mean, we've seen the effort from him all season long, and it's plays like that. That I thought that was the biggest play of the entire game, and there was plenty of big plays.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, to keep it from going 21-0 is huge, and then just to get off that block and then take that guy on man, it was pretty special. So he's a good player.
You guys took that turnover and you went 85 yards the other way. Huge fourth down call. Not sure if there was any doubt going for it that early in the game, but boy, you have a guy like Theo Simmons, and he pays it off for you in a big way, and a huge gamble as we watch this fourth down touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, we needed this, and it was wet conditions, and the grass was still wet even though it wasn't raining, and for him to just rattle that off was special too. I mean, again, it's the first touchdown of the night. Instead of being 21-0, now it's you know 14-6, and to be honest with you, going into halftime, you know, it's a momentum getter for us. It's like, hey, we can play, let's go. You know, I mean, when we went down 14, I was on the sidelines. I looked at some of the kids' faces and I said, our mindset has to be, we can win this game still. This is nothing. And to be honest with you, if you look at how they got their first two scores, we're turning the ball over, we're fumbling it, we're giving it to them. They're not beating us, we're beating ourselves, and we're not executing. And that's kind of like the mindset that these guys did take on. You know, Coach Kedrick talks about mindset all the time, where we have to believe that we can do these things, and if we do these things and we believe we can do these things, they will happen. And so that's just things we try to do with our club to get them in a different mindset than, oh, here we go again, 14-0, you know, so.
All right, so here we go. You guys take the second half kickoff. It doesn't go well. You're backed up on your own 2-yard line. You guys go, I think it was 11 plays, 98 yards, all on the ground, and Dion Sherwood, of all people, takes it in a rushing touchdown. Yeah,
you know, I mean, again, we got a lot of dynamic football players and kids that can handle the football and run. And so in that situation, I mean, that was a long drive. It was a beautiful drive. We did run the ball a lot, and getting fresh legs down the goal line after we've had them down there and had them on the ropes for that long, I mean, probably benefited us. And you know, Dion can get lost out there. He's not the biggest of guys.
That's true.
But he's fast, and he can run. And so for him to score that touchdown, that was his first touchdown, I believe. It's special time, special for a special kid like that. So.
Yeah, St. Anthony would take the lead, but not for long because you have a dynamic quarterback, and here he does it himself, 80 yards for Avante Monroe.
Yeah, you know, so this play was crazy because he was supposed to I want to say pitch that. The first read is the pitch. But if you go back and you watch this play again, that safety starts running over, thinking we're going that way, and he sees it and he just takes off. So you see that safety went over too far, and then he gets a great block right there from Lavelle Miller. I mean, that basically springs him for that 80 yards. But it was quite the play, and that's probably the fastest I think I've seen Avante run all year. So. he was shot out of a cannon there. So.
Yeah, no one was catching him. And
no.
Our future upcoming guest in this episode made a huge play, 2-point conversion. Coach, this is to give you guys the lead midway through the fourth quarter. Giant play for Jesse Falk to get in there.
Yeah, you know, Jesse is kind of he's a hard hat, lunch pail kid. He'll do anything we ask. He play a little quarterback, play some linebacker. He'll hold some kicks. He really, you know, will do anything that's asked of him, and in that situation, I mean, we were gonna call a fake fire anyway. We had 10 on the field. They pass interfered Jake, gave us that penalty to move us up close, and then we just went with that big offensive set, and it's just him finding a gap and a hole and trying to get it in. So he did a good job of that. He does a good job of that. So
and that big set worked out for you guys, but you needed defense to close it out.
Yeah, we did.
And you got a big play from a Marion Hanspard to seal it.
Yeah, you know, before the game, Coach was asking guys to talk about their opponent, and he said, I have to sit on hitch, and sure enough, it paid off for him. I mean, that you can't ask for anything better. To be honest with you, there aren't too many teams in our new district that I think can hang with us on the outside. I think our corners and our safeties are clearly more athletic and better when they play and trust their coach, which you'll meet tonight here. And he gets them in positions to make plays like this, and Marion, he just took it away from him, and it was a big one. He got the turnover chain out. I don't know if you see, have you guys shown the turnover chain? Yeah, he put that on proudly that night. So that was good. That was good.
All right, well, we're going to talk more about this game in the final segment, Coach.
No,
we'll also look ahead to a road test on Friday night against Columbia Heights. All right.
All right.
All right, coming up next on Inside Kennedy Football, we will talk with assistant coach, the DB's coach, Reggie Echols, when we continue.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Kennedy coming off one of their biggest wins in recent memory. They will take to the field a road game for Kennedy on Friday night against Columbia Heights. Back with defensive backs coach Reggie Echols on Inside Kennedy Football. First time for you on the show. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Thanks. Glad to be here. You know,
thanks for
first time offender.
There you go. Thanks for being a part of it. Hopefully I don't scare you off too much.
Oh,
but
no.
Looking back on last week's game, the way that it was closed out, you're the defensive backs coach, to watch a Marion obviously diagnose that route. Right. He was in the perfect spot to make a huge play, a play that seals the game. Just talk about what that play meant to him and what it meant to you as his position coach.
Right. I believe that was his first one of the year. You know, we've been having, coverage issues, along the way. He's been playing great football, getting caught up in some things. But we've been practicing all week, getting prepared, film work and everything. And we've been practicing jumping the hitches and jumping outs and coming underneath the routes, So to see him do it so perfectly, in the time and the play recognition in the clutch, the drive killers, we talk about, ball hawking and flying around, it was a special moment to close out the game.
We'll talk about the game in a little bit, but let's introduce everyone to your background. So what year is this for you at Kennedy? How did you become involved in coaching football? Walk us through your background that led you to eventually become a coach here at Kennedy.
Yeah, this is my third year with Kennedy. My first year on varsity. I started with the freshmen. came in with these guys that's coming up next, you know. So I'm year 3 just with them. I'm a junior too, so. I was coaching for the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board for about 10 years. You know, getting these guys out, you know, a lot of names you probably heard of, you know, sending them out here to these, you know, schools, and, you know, the same style of play, the same thing, you know, that tough ball hawking. You know, I'm from the Charles Woodson school of, you know, see ball, get ball, you know, those types of things. So I teach that, you know, religiously to these guys, you know, and they're performing. You know, I think we're up to 10 interceptions on the year, so big turnaround defensively.
And I know you spent some time with Coach Kedrick Williams to talk about your past relationship before you both were here at Kennedy High School.
Right. I think we have 2 head-to-head matches. He was at McCray Park coaching youth football, and I was at Harrison Park. So we met a couple of times, you know, in playoffs and championships. You know what I'm saying? He got that one. I think he got the championship, you know, with 11U or whatever. But, you know, it was fun times. Been knowing him for a long time. Great relationship. You know, he's doing the same thing with the kids, you know, the same mindset. You know, we're from the, you know, same tough background, you know, so, you know, we're a good fit.
What was that process like? Who first reached out to you about coming to Kennedy, and what were some of those conversations like 3 years ago?
Well, my daughters were actually playing basketball at Jefferson under Coach Talley, and, you know, I was going to their games those couple of years, and, you know, I just having conversations with him about football and just, you know, hearing me talking and coaching and stuff, and seeing what I was doing at Harrison. You know, he just, when the opening came about, you know, he put word in, and I got the email, interview with, you know, Coach Anderson, John, and here I am 3 years later. So
was it a tough interview? What kind of an interviewer is John Anderson?
Oh, he's very relaxed. He's laid back.
Okay.
You know, I think I came in, I had a blue and gold tie on, and you know, I was real dressed apart. I think I had blue and gold socks on, so I was really trying to be impressionable, you know, come in with Kennedy colors on. So I think that's what sealed it for me.
All right, your kids. Talk about your kids, your family.
Yeah, I have, like I said, I have 2 daughters graduated from Jefferson already. I have 1 there now, so, you know, that's not my fault, but they're there. You know, I currently live in Medina with my beautiful wife, you know, new family. And, yeah, I take that 494 corridor every day back and forth, you know what I'm saying, for doing what I love to do.
How long does that take you? How long does that take you each way coming up from Medina? If you don't know, that's north of Plymouth. Right?
Yeah, right up 55 and 494, yep. Little ways west. It takes me 12 minutes to get to 494. First of all, you know, and then it's about a 30-minute trip. You know what I'm saying, each way, but it's worth it. You know. Well,
we're lucky to have you on the staff. Coach, best of luck this week, and we'll see you back home in just over a week for the final home game of the season, all right?
Indeed, all right.
All right, that's defensive backs coach Reggie Echols. When we come back, players segment time. A couple of juniors stop by on Inside Kennedy Football.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you, or your families, asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep you secure for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
Back on Inside Kennedy Football, the Eagles face Columbia Heights in a road challenge on Friday night. Back for the player segment here on Inside Kennedy Football. A couple of juniors join me, Jesse Falk, Jackson Reichenberger Cooper. Guys, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Jesse, just start with you. We ask all the players this, Kennedy or Jefferson, but when did you start playing the game of football? When did you figure out you might be good enough to play at the high school level?
Yeah, I started playing when I was in like 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and just like right away I just knew that I like had a knack for the sport. I was passionate about it, and I just, you know, sometime in middle school I think I met a few high school players, and you know, they were all, you know, they were like, excited that we were going to be freshmen soon, and I was just ready to play high school, I guess.
How about you, Jackson?
Yeah, I grew up in Lakeville, played for Lakeville until 6th, 7th grade, and then I moved in with my brother and joined the Bloomington football, played for Kennedy, decided to come to Kennedy, and since freshman year, since 8th grade, I've known I wanted to be on varsity, and I've always thought I've been good enough to.
Jesse, you're kind of a jack of all trades on this Kennedy team. You walk us through all the positions that you have to prepare for. It seems like every week
Yeah.
To get ready for the game on Friday.
This year I've played QB, strong safety, outside linebacker. I'm on punt return, and then I'm the kick holder as well for an extra point.
Sounds like you remember them all, which is a challenge in
Yeah.
and of itself. But how have you been able to juggle all that and keep everything straight? And obviously you seem like an intelligent guy. I'm sure that has to be a factor in it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of being able to split it up, I guess. Like, we split up offense and defense in practice. It's kind of the same thing, just knowing and paying attention to specific positions.
Jackson, how about you? Walk us through your responsibilities on the Kennedy team.
Yeah, so I play center. I might play some guard this week. I play middle linebacker, D-end. I've played D-tackle. I've warmed up with running backs to play fullback. I don't know. Just do whatever the team needs most.
Well, you guys both combined to make a huge play for Kennedy. It was a 2-point conversion late in the game. Were you following behind Jackson, Jesse? What did you see on that particular play, and how did it feel for you guys to combine for one of the bigger plays of Kennedy's season?
Well, yeah, because Coach gave me the call, and he was, gave us the play call, and I went up in the huddle, and I was like, Jackson, I'm trusting you on this one, and I called the play, and I grabbed the ball, and I put my hand like on Jackson's shoulder and just ran up the hole, and then I felt a push, and it was Trey and then Scotty, so Trey like pushed me, and then Scotty like threw me into the end zone. I was like a rag doll, I guess. But
really,
it
I
worked in the end.
was waiting to run that play. It's one of my favorite plays. Wedge.
I'm sure as a center, you thrive on that moment where, hey, it's on me. I've got to not only snap the ball, but I got to lead everybody and create just enough room to get into the end zone.
Mm-hmm. And when he called it, I knew what to do. I just had to push.
Right.
What was that locker room or that post-game celebration like from a player's perspective, guys? What are some of the things that stand out from last week's game? We'll start with you, Jackson.
It was awesome to come onto the sideline and go into the locker room and just know that we won and see everybody who wants to take pictures and who's celebrating, people holding up signs, yelling your name. And it's just all smiles and laughs after the game. It's really fun to go home and be able to relax knowing you won the game, and you can look forward to next week.
Jesse, I was saying this to you before we went on air, but I haven't seen a lot of Kennedy teams get down 14-0, let alone on homecoming, and come back and execute down the stretch to win. What does that say about where your team's at and maybe where your team is headed, not only obviously this year, but you're only a junior, you've got next year as well?
Yeah, I feel like it's the start of something new for sure. It's a lot of history in the making, because we're not done at 2 wins. We're probably, hopefully we're going to go 4-4, 5-4, 6-4. And I know we're going to do really good next year as well. And I'm really excited to see what's to come.
Last question for both of you guys. Just outside of football, what is life like for both Jackson and Jesse? What are some other things that you're involved at, or maybe some other activities that you enjoy to do? How about we'll start with you, Jackson?
I wrestle for our wrestling team, and I also joined lacrosse last year. I'm looking forward to the wrestling season. Hopefully I can go to state this year in our new section. Lacrosse is a fun sport. Just started it. Yeah.
How about you, Jesse?
So I play basketball, and then I also used to play baseball, but now Jackson got me to play lacrosse. So I'll be playing lacrosse this year, and then I'm in like 5 college classes, so it's a lot of homework every night.
There you go. That's that intelligence that allows you to prepare for all those different positions. Yeah. Guys, great win on Friday. Great to get to know you guys a little bit more, and we'll see you just over a week from now for your final home game at Bloomington Stadium, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, back for the final segment with assistant coach Eric Vetch. Will preview the game against Columbia Heights on Inside Kennedy Football. Final segment of Inside Kennedy Football headed toward Week 7. The Eagles face Columbia Heights in a road challenge on Friday night. Back with assistant coach Eric Vetch to preview that game. Before we get to that game, throw it back one more time to last week. Obviously a huge win. Number one, what do you think this win does for your team as a program? You're heading down here the last two games of the regular season before we get to postseason. And then how do you refocus everyone after such an emotional win to keep you on that path, because you've got some momentum building in the right direction right now?
Yeah, I mean, looking back at the last 4 or 5 weeks where we've had some ups and downs. This last win against Providence was the culmination of us being close in a lot of games, and then having kind of like that all collapse on us again, and then coming back and fighting to do what these kids did. You know, I mean, being down 14, you could have said, "Oh my," you know, and you've seen us the last few years, right? Mm-hmm. And it could have been, "Oh my," you know, here we go again, and yet these guys found a way to prevail, and the coaching staff found a way to put kids in positions to be successful, and these kids performed at just an unbelievable level. And you can't take that away from them. And it's just another building block in this process. No one said this was going to be easy for Coach K, but he's doing such a great job building these guys up, building their mind frame up that they can win games, that they can be successful. And it's starting to pay off. It's a slow process, but in the end, I think you're going to see us slowly climb this mountain one step at a time. And so that's the message I think he wants these guys to have is, hey, slow your roll a little bit. Yeah, we won a couple games now, but that doesn't mean we're not done. There's more there to be had, so we have to stay focused. Well,
let's talk about the next step. It's Columbia Heights, and they've kind of had a season similar to yours where they got off to a little bit of a slow start, lost their first 4, but they're on a 2-game winning streak. That said, also obviously a team that's 2-4 just like you. Yeah. Should be a good matchup and a very winnable game for you on Friday.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I want to respect our opponent coming up. I mean, they have some good players. They have some good things going. I know their numbers are down a little bit. You can see it on film. But at the same time, they're on a 2-game winning streak, so they're feeling good about themselves too, right? And so, you know, we're going to their place. I believe it's their homecoming, right? And we got to go and we got to basically say, no, sorry, not tonight. We don't mean to ruin your night, but it's going to happen, you know. But our guys got to stay focused. We have to have a good week of practice. We need to, you know, expound on what we've done so far, and we also need to make sure that we stay humble in what we do and realize that this is going to take a while, but these kids are putting their stamp on Kennedy's future. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. So
they had a comeback win of their own last week against Spectrum. Let's take a look at some of their highlights. They were down in this game, I believe, 14-0 as well. Yeah. Here they get a long, explosive touchdown run. Again, they're Columbia Heights, a team in white. Yeah. And it looks like a very diverse rushing attack here.
Yeah, you know, they run basically almost a similar offense as Eden Prairie runs. It's they have 2 wing backs, and they like to fold in and create creases for Mr. Fowler here to run the football. You know, he's not super dynamically fast, but he's powerful and he's a good running back, and we have to keep our eyes out on him because he can do things like break it away.
He has almost 900 yards rushing this season.
He's their workhorse, and they like to bring you in and trap you in, and then create creases for him to get through. And we got to know what we're doing. We got to do our jobs. We got to beat them and win. Like Coach Etzel said today at practice, if we win the line of scrimmage, we'll be okay on both sides of the ball. But we have to win the line of scrimmage. It's going to be our big boys up front. They're going to win us this game. So.
Last question for you. What's going to be the biggest challenge for you guys on Friday as we close here? We've got about 30 seconds left.
The snow, the rain, maybe, the possibility of that. I just think getting on top first. We need to come out fast. We need to score first. We need to put pressure on them. And I think our kids play pretty good when we got the lead. I mean, you saw that last interception, shut that down. It's like our confidence grew. So I think if we can score first and get our confidence up a little bit, I think we'll have a good night. So. All
right. Well, congrats on hopefully a program building win for you guys, emotional win on homecoming. Best of luck against Columbia Heights.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having us.
All right, that'll wrap up another edition of Inside Kennedy Football. Again, the Eagles take on Columbia Heights on the road on Friday night. We'll see the Eagles back here on Tuesday for another edition of Inside Kennedy Football. For our entire crew, this is Josh Powers saying goodnight from our studios.